Hey, hey, hey.
Hi.
Hi. Driving. You can't be on video driving.
Well,
Just,
that is the only way I could attend this call. So,
are you able to turn your video off and just use the audio?
um,
You know what? Just
I'm
don't
sh-
sit down.
I should go.
Keep your oh, I like the background, Shaku.
I'll just. I can. I, I can just put my phone down.
Okay, just don't look at us.
Okay.
How are you feeling?
Like physically, or like about this whole thing, or
Yeah,
in what way?
any pick one. Go for it.
I feel. I feel ready to go for this whole thing.
Nice,
Um,
nice.
yeah. Have you been getting my text messages?
I did get them.
Okay.
I think you sent them about 5 minutes ago.
I sent the one on Messenger 5 minutes ago. I was talking about the one that I texted your phone a couple days ago.
Yes, I did get those. I did read those. We'll chat about those inside this meeting. But yes, ma'am, I did get them. I sent a thumbs up.
Okay.
Shaku, how are you?
Girl, I'm good. I just got done working, so I'm cleaning up my mess.
Ooh, I saw those photos that you did with Adia.
Hi, oh yeah. She did
Yes,
amazing.
Adia.
Yes.
You're not supposed to be looking, Adia.
I'm not.
That was your test.
Well, I passed it because I'm not looking at my phone right now.
I mimicked your pose. I love those photos. Great work.
Thank you.
Yes. And Miss Geraldine, how are you?
I'm good. Sorry for the backlighting. I can't do
Light me
anything
up.
about it.
Is that sunlight? Is it still daytime?
Yeah, it's sunlight coming through the west window.
Is it still daytime? That's so funny.
And we've got Mr. Chris coming on in here. You've got me desperately searching on how to change my background. I've done it before.
Yeah, see, I like Shaku's because
Yeah,
I did it and I don't know how to take it off no more.
I know. I'm like, how do we like
I need that. I'm gonna be up here as you because I need that. It's cool.
all I can do is to blur my background. That's as good as I can get.
Blurring would be good, but
oh,
I'm
wait,
doing.
wait a minute. This is how I'm feeling.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, good
Chris,
evening, everybody.
how are you? Good
Chris,
evening.
Great.
Yay, we got everybody in 5 minutes. Ooh, this is gonna be good. Okay. All right, well, I'm gonna text Miss Ty. I think we're just missing Dallas. Hey, we are about to start the meeting. We launched at 5:30 p.m. Just wanted to give you a reminder. You have received an email as well as the group messenger that has the link for Zoom. Thank you. All right, let's do it. We got a lot to cover. And I think I put something on my screen. Hold on, how do I get, can you guys see me at all?
No.
Dang.
I'm not allowed to look, so I don't know.
Every question is gonna be a test for Radio. Oh
So
my
explain
God.
why she can't look.
Dang, what happened? She's
Why she
driving.
can't look?
She's
So she's
driving.
driving. Distraction.
Okay.
Am I being a distraction on here? I can take myself off here.
Oh no, you're fine. Your background is awesome too.
Yep.
Okay, guys, I had a full blown. Do you see anything in there? Well, we're not. You don't have to see me. That's fine. I like to get started. That sucks though. I should have left well enough alone. Hold on,
Well,
let
I
me
can't
try
even-
one more thing.
I can't take me off. I don't know how. I'm lucky to be here on the Zoom. This is my second Zoom.
She said, I'm lucky to be here. I miss you, Miss Weber. It's so good to see you.
Miss you too.
I hit
Oh,
blur
yeah.
background in my picture, my video, everything went away. So
Yeah. Yeah. Chiku and I are rocking it right now. We're good.
okay.
We in the
All right. Trying to give Annie a bit of time. It says it was delivered. All right, so let's go on in. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I don't have a face right now, I guess. That's fine. And I didn't do my eyebrows anyway for Shaku, so it doesn't matter.
Gosh, I did that.
I send the most random text to Shaku, like, what eyebrow pencil is that? Okay. So I'm going to share my screen since that's what we're going to be looking at anyhow. And here's some of the notes and documents that I'm going to be sharing with you. So I guess at this time, let's go ahead and make sure that I've got everyone's email. If you guys see anyone attempting to join that group, please let me know.
All right.
Let's see, 5. Let me stop sharing the screen because I think that may be them looking to get in. 5. Never mind. Okay. Okay, are you guys still able to see my screen at all?
I can.
And no?
No,
Okay.
I was able to a few seconds ago. There it is.
Oh, you see it? Okay.
I can see it now.
Were you guys affected at all by the cell phone tower stuff?
I don't think
not-
so.
No.
Okay.
I'm so inept at phones that it doesn't matter for me. But yeah, I could have been, but I wouldn't know.
You've been rocking and rolling. So if you guys can all see my screen, Chris, can you see as well? Terrific. Okay.
You see the document
Katie,
song
I'm
list.
gonna, you don't worry about looking. I want you to be safe. What I'm explaining, and if you need me to send this video, these videos for Zoom are really like terribly hard to send. So I upload them to our playlist on YouTube right here.
I can do
Okay.
that.
So you'll see that I'm going to send you all this playlist. It's on YouTube on our channel, STRUT 2024 all show options. And then as we continue to have our meetings, those will be also attached to this playlist.
Okay.
Okay. And so once again, just to kind of recap the meeting timeframes, we're going to start once a month and then start to teeter into twice, 3, and then weekly as we approach the show dates. Okay, so what this says, this is something that I write to you guys and to the dancers. So I have my meetings with the dancers first. So if you're not aware or don't remember our combos, you guys pull in your favorite track options, and then the majority of my time is spent with dancers, choreographers, and pulling the music to see what we can pull together and have a cohesive soundtrack. The soundtrack is not like gridlocked. It's not gridlocked until I think our third class. And you guys are the ones that lock it. So we're gonna go through a little bit of the soundtrack, but I'm gonna take you through this document, and I'm gonna share it with you all now, just in case you wanna pull it up on another device. So let's start. Adia, would you like to give me your email?
Yeah. It's ADIA, M as in monkey, M as in monkey, A, and then TAYLOR @yahoo.com.
All right, I have Adia, Emma. And then the last portion you said you kind of faded out. You said T.
Oh, TAYLOR @yahoo.com.
Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna repeat that back to you. Never mind. I got your beautiful face pulled up. I need that photo. Okay. And then next here on my profile, Miss Weber, can you give me your email address?
It's Jerry Antics, JERIANTICS
All
at
right.
Yahoo.
I think I've got that pulled up. If you can see my screen there. Okay, and then Miss Shaku.
It's Expo Styles, EXPO. Oh, EXPO STYLES @gmail.com.
There you go. Hey, gorgeous.
Hey. Hey.
Weston, how about you?
Yeah, mine is CIV, the model, THEMODEL @gmail.com.
Love it. Okay. Is that, can you verify CIVTHEMODEL @gmail.com?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Okay. So I'm sending you guys all editor versions, but please don't edit. Like if you do, like make a copy of it and edit. And what this is, for everyone, this is Docs, Google Docs. Who is not familiar with Google Docs?
Yes. Ooh.
All right, so this is incredible because this is Word that has been translated now for an internet version. You can use it on any profile that you've got, phone devices, laptop devices, and you can share like I have with you all, and you can see me typing in it in real time.
Awesome.
Okay. And the reason why I want to share it with you, you can go in and make your own copy. You can download it in any format. It's pretty cool. And then you can also make a copy. That's what I highly recommend, make a copy. So that way you can share with me any changes you want. Okay. So what we have here, this is just kind of going over what the show is about. And I'm scrolling fast because I've got a lot of ground to cover. And the schedule for the entire tour, this will apply to each show, 9 a.m. arrival. The only time this will change will be probably for Kansas City, Missouri, or OKC. And that's if it changes to 10. And why, what I mean by change is those venues have not been deposited yet. So the time has not been locked in. And sometimes if someone is kind of playing around with not wanting us to give us a full 12 hours, I may change that to 10 or 11, right? But 9 a.m., we want to be out of there by 10 p.m. The show should be over around 8:30, crowning no later than 8:35. If we're hanging out after the crowning, it's probably till 9. And from last year, you guys witnessed after that 8:30, 9 o'clock window, I'm really trying to get out of there to go and start cleaning up. These are a list of our past 3 years of promo, in case you want to just refresh yourself on anything or take in for concept. Don't forget, all of these videos can be found on our page. And I'm gonna go to right in here to all those videos. You can find years and years and years of stuff going back all the way to 2005. Okay, so this is a double breakdown. So the first portion of the breakdown is going to highlight what are the scenes. What are the names of the scenes? These are not fixed. Fixed means they can't be changed. You guys still have the ability to go in and change them. That's why I recommend you make a copy. So you can go in and just vibe out and say, hey, this doesn't feel like Tempted. This feels more like Persuaded or Trapped, or just come up with some nifty names. And as we move forward, we'll all agree on them. What is the track? And that's the name of the song. Who do I think needs to be on this runway, on this catwalk? Is it dancers? What style of dancing? Is it runway with possibility of dancers? Is it a definite dancer and runway combo? So you may say, nope, I want to make some notes in red underneath here, and go in and make your notes and say, no, I'm really feeling this needs to be a solo dance, not a group of dancers. So I really want to see your opinion, because when you start to get into the soundtrack and formulate your opinions and express them, then we can decide, do these songs actually stay? Is there a song out there that we may have overlooked that would go best with this scene that conveys this message? All right, so now there's a short window after I share these soundtracks with you all that the scene options of music become absolutely closed. We want to close that by the end of March. So our meeting is at the end of March. So you will have an opportunity, if anything is missing and you know, hey, for scene 2, we're trying to find something in here that expresses taking life lightly or not so serious, and this is a better song. I didn't think about it before. I really wasn't interested in donating music, but now that I'm vibing to this, I've got the perfect song. It happens all the time, every year, because this is how the spirit moves. It plants something in your heart and you've got the answer that I didn't find, right? So, but after that, we will gridlock the soundtrack, no more options. Be prepared to not care for the soundtrack or be in love with the soundtrack, as we expressed in December when I talked to you guys, right? So this is what's pulled out, having 4 different types of dancers, from contemporary to hip hop to other niches. We had to figure out how to make everyone happy. All right. Especially any dancers that are going to do the full tour with us, which is our contemporary dancers and one particular hip hop group. They've committed to the full tour. All right, so just to kind of recap, this first version is just a shorthand breakdown. What the scene is, the name of the scene, the track, the name of the track, and then what we have come across as a second draft of, is it dancer, is it runway, all that stuff. They're doing the same thing that you're going to be doing this month. They're replaying this soundtrack list to see, does it really mesh? Are we really hearing the words and the storyline in the sequence of the tracks? Okay. And then be prepared for the dancers to throw in song options that we haven't been privy to. All right, so the second one is the soundtrack breakdown. It says detailed breakdown. It tells you how many songs, 15 songs, 54 minutes. That is the gauge of our show, 54 minutes. So you know the show is an hour. We try and get it around, we really want it to be in that 45, 55-minute window. So we can save that 5-10 minutes for our crowning. All right, so does anyone have any questions so far? Okay. Jaku, hey, did you have did you have any questions?
No, I was just saying, no, I don't.
Awesome. Okay. Okay, so now this is the producer's breakdown. And this is what you guys will have to have on our printout. This is talks about which scene it is. How many scenes is it for the dancers? Is it their first, their third, their, are they even dancing in the first one? Is the first scene a designer scene, or is it just an opening, or is it an intro? So we'll be talking and defining these right here. The title of the scene, the perfect beginning. Remember, these titles are not fixed. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with and what you decide to change the titles to. Which track is being utilized? All falls apart. Okay. Time, 1 minute and 20 seconds. That's how long that track is. Why is this necessary to have the time? It's going to be imperative because we've got to gauge each runway. The dancers have to know how long it is to decide ultimately if they want to dance to it. So, and this is the dancer opening. If you don't like this opening, you gotta really, really, really find something that is going to be a shebang and meet the same excitement that this does and convey the same message. And so you really, as a producer now, you guys wearing your production hats are gonna have to step outside of your own personal taste and look at the production. So we have a group of dancers that are, oh, I just forgot, what are they? It'll probably say in here, majorettes. So they've got their majorette costumes. We may replace them, but they do the splits. They do everything you can think of that the majorettes on grandstand TV or football games. And they have an array of from children to adults. So they're phenomenal. So they're going to do that opening. So it has to really represent what we're trying to convey, the opening of the show. All right. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I just kind of want to work at least to about maybe 4 or 5 of these. Is that okay?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So the way that the show opens, is that available to change per show, or once we decide, is that just decided for the whole thing?
That's a great question, Adia. So as it stands right now, and when I say right now, it's because it's not fixed, it's fluid. Right. Until we come into a fixed position. As of right now, it is subject to change. It can change. We have until the end of March to lock it. As far as each show, if you can find something that's stellar, that's going to work with the people who are actually coming on tour, then yes. So as a producer now, you've got to say, okay, what dance group, or not even group, because there are 4 groups and there are so many people inside the group who are touring, right?
Right.
So who all is touring with us, right? We can have all the majorettes for Tulsa, but only 6 of them instead of the 18 can only travel, and they can only travel to my show. This is the detail we have to know. So then I'm just going to change the song for the intro and have the hip hop dancers who I know for a fact are coming, right?
Right.
And so it is changeable, but just remember, for every change, we're going to go through a lot of ripples because it has to accommodate everyone. As of right now, as this stands, this profile of this current layout suits everyone. So it is a jigsaw puzzle. And it's given everyone a little bit of their flair. The one thing I believe for sure we may switch up is going to be Tahlequah. And that's just I think maybe just 2 songs out of there we may swap out. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, and that was a great question. Did anyone else have any questions on swap outs? Nope. Okay. All right, so let me see here. Okay, you'll notice here in the verbiage, I try and get as detailed as possible, but this is where you guys are going to have fun. Ada, this is where your creativity is going to come in. The concept, this is just a stamp out of what the concept is for the beginning of the strut fashion play. We enter into this life, we are born into a container, a vessel, a body. And I will pull a lot of this verbiage into the actual play write-up, okay? So do note that. If it describes the scene, it also is really great for the monologue that I'll try and present as I present each scene, all right? And this really helps the dancers choreograph. They love this, they read this, and they get your vision. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so really have fun in here. I try and keep it as vague as I can because I don't want you to feel stuck, right? I don't want you to feel stuck at all. I've also included links here for each song. So you don't have to go back and forth between the soundtrack here and then try and figure out where the soundtrack is again. You could just click on it. It'll play that soundtrack on your device, okay? And then don't forget, I've also included you guys all in this. And then who does not have an iPhone?
I don't have iPhone.
I have an Android.
Okay. All right. So for those who do have an iPhone, I will include you in the playlist here. I'm going to share this with you as well. All right.
Okay.
So moving forward, let's go back really quickly. Chris, did you have any questions on the breakdown here?
Nope. I'm excited that you explained that we will have a little bit of say in the concept. So I'm excited to, get our creative juices flowing on that.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to tailor the map to your story, to your cause. This is where we get to see the defining of your cause with cancer and Miss Weber's cause, with endangered,
Yes.
missing and murdered Native American women. This is important to be able to translate your cause here, right? So as I'm reading this, if you do not touch this, it just falls into my generic whatever I end up being pulled to say, okay? The same way with the music. It's just going to end up being what's best for the production. Okay. Even in here, I want to see what your heart is pulling in for the designer concept. What can you see walking down? And even if it's not a designer scene, like it says 0, it's none, right? This is our opening. It doesn't matter if it's one now, if a designer comes in and says, no, I want to style for the dancer scene.
Oh,
Now, I don't know what designer is gonna say, yeah, let me dance, let me style some dancers and let's see what seams pop. But hey, so it's been done before. But this is probably gonna be the Strut Boutique where we're going to stylize those dancers, right? And if you know that you want to have something to do with that boutique, I'm gonna leave that to the stylist. But this is where you would give them a marker, or you would give them some type of concept to go off of. For me, I see sparkle and shine. I see just party. I see a, you know, sparkling globe. I want to see life, right? You may say for the beginning, no, I see nude, or I see white, or I see all black. This beginning is not starting out so nice. You know, for me, this beginning is them choosing to come to this world, you know, and it kind of starts into that concept. This is something that we talked about in choreo, where we usually start with strut, a concept from the womb being born. But what if we start in this one as we've graduated life as spirits, and now we're coming in and we've decided to choose planet Earth. And we're coming to the hardest obstacle of them all, right? This is where it hurts. This is where it's tough. This is where you have to, you know, forget everything that you know and learn to work from the heart. And this is a painful, you know, educational process, right? And so you see that in the verbiage here, you know, where you kind of come in naive, you know, and you got that song from Kid Cudi, you know, surfing, and you're just coming in, and the concept here can be, you know, African attire, or it could be, we just know it's colorful. It's the theme that he's saying is surfing, don't steal my wave, you know, get off of my wave. And you'll notice as you go through this music, start pulling out some of the synchronicities, start pulling out some of the themes that you see trending. For me, when I was going through it with my son, one of the things that we noticed, there's about 3 different songs that have to do with taking something off. Taking something off, right? So that's when you start to see how God is moving and the message that he wants to present to his people through you guys, right? So he wants us to remove something. There's something that we're coming into this experience with that we have to almost shed in order for us to graduate. And so you want to think about those things and come in here and discuss them with me in your description of your description concept, the dancer concept, the designer concept. I want to see what your heart is saying, okay? And I'll know that you did not dive into this music because I'll be able to see, because once you're in it, you guys are going to be typing and I'll be able to see you in real time, okay? Any questions? I'm going to take a slight pause on that.
So so I have a question about concepts.
Yes.
The initial basis concept of like, we are born into this life, we make mistakes, and then at the end we come out of it different. Does that need to coincide with our own? Did I get that concept right?
You sure did. You sure did. But remember, it's not fixed yet. It's still fluid.
Okay.
But yes, go ahead and finish your question. Let me not interrupt you.
You're good.
It's a great question, and I don't want you to get you off track. Go for it.
The concept that we come up with that coincides with our, what is it called? Purpose isn't the word, but cause.
Yes.
Does that need to coincide with the initial, like, are they both together, or is it going to be like one or the other, like we're trading it out, or how does that?
Great question, Adia. So for those who may not understand what she's saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, Adia is understanding, she's defining. She knows that strut has a reoccurring concept or a theme of a concept, which is we're born perfect, and then a seed is planted into your mind that tells you you're not good enough, and you have to now follow the show showing how we beat this mindset, and we get trapped into it, turned by it, trapped into it, and we have to remember who we are, remember our power, and then that leads us to victory. And if you can look here on the screen, it kind of shows you those things. Remember I said these are not fixed, you can change them, right? So opening, ride a wave could totally be changed into illusion, right? Because illusion is one of the words that come out in that track while it's playing, right? Ooh, don't you judge me. Okay, for the spelling. All right, so when this comes on, it says it's an illusion, right? So if that pulls at your heart and you understand now why this song was chosen, the verbiage, that could end up being this scope for that title, for the scene. But there is a common theme that we use. This is what we do with Strut Fashion Play. Our job is to remind the people of their power, to wake people up and remind them that this is a temporary experience. They came from somewhere else. They were born into this world to face whatever it is they've gone through, and that there is victory in realizing your power. That's our mission. So that's what she's trying to define. Outside of the Strut mission, how can she correlate her cause into this script, this storyline, as best as possible? Is that correct?
Yes.
It's even on a flow altogether, basically.
Well, yeah, I guess my question is how to mesh that
Mhm.
together, like how to have two concepts together.
So Ada, it's 5 shows. So you have the ability to get in and say, for my show for OKC, this is what I would like to do. When we get into budget, this is where this takes us into budget. The ceiling that you can already feel
Mhm.
that's coming, or the door kind of going, "Ah," you know,
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
it's honestly, guys, it's budget. Because if we've got 16 dancers and we know that 10 of them are on the entire tour and 6 of them are going to be choppy, right? They're here, they can make Dallas, but they can't make, Tahlequah,
Yeah.
when we start changing music and when we start changing concept, then we start playing around with the budget. Because now let's take, for example, moth dancers, right? If we say, okay, hey, this is the budget, this is what we have, and we break that down via rehearsal time, and we break it down per their schedule to rehearse in the first place, right? Then we've got to say, you're coming on these dates, and these dates. But now we got to change the entire show to fit Adia's 3 song changes. And Adia has to have moth dancers on this song because this is her jam. And she sees this in her head. And every time she sees this song, she cries, and she has to have these dancers, right? It's not impossible, but it affects your budget. And it becomes now the jigsaw puzzle. Does that make sense?
Yes. I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. And this is why I like to get you guys on. Our 3rd or 4th meeting will be with choreo. So so that way you don't just see it, for yourself now, because you get a chance to talk with the choreographers and them say, well, guess what? We can only commit to 7 rehearsals. And we're already signed up for 4 other productions, right?
Well, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, let me give an example, because I don't know that my question is being, I don't know if I'm understanding the answer for my question. So, okay, so like, let's say for what is it? Okay, so my cause is ADD awareness, and for one of the scenes, I come up with a concept of like, so like the beginning, when you have ADD as a kid, you're kind of wily and
Mhm.
there's a lot going on constantly and your attention isn't really anywhere. And so when you come into the world, like there's everything all at once.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and so how would I
Tell your story.
coincide? Yes, how would I do that with
Yes.
also the concept that we are like, it's not the exact example that I want, but it's the only one that's cohesive enough to word. How would I coincide that with the we come into this world imperfect type?
So your answer was given at the beginning of this. How
Okay.
long do we have to insert tracks?
A minute and 20 seconds.
No. We've gotten to the end of March,
Oh, right. Okay.
right? So first, before you can tamper with the music, you got to listen to it, absorb it, and then see what is missing, right?
Yeah.
For you, if you can literally go in and say, right here, this is what I see. This is what I want. And the choreographer comes in and says, okay, for the OKC show, this is what Adia is seeing. This is what she needs. This is how we convey her stuff. Once we start putting everyone's vision together, that's 5 different, that's 1 king, 4 queens. We now see, okay, if we do this movement or we choose this song, this can help convey what Adia is and Chris and what everybody's talking about. But for this particular scene, we can add a little bit more to get this across, right? Or for this particular scene, we can swap that out. There's a song here that keeps coming to me for you. It's not inside this soundtrack, but it's called Overthinker.
Who is
And
it by?
let's see. It's called Overthinker. And so you can see, do you see how many drafts we've gone through? Everything that says Strut 2024.
Yeah. Yes.
This is actually broken up into a sort of perception of your own personalities. Right? So I do want you to see how you were brought into mine. Kansas City has a second draft. That means this has made it all the way down to the second draft. It started out with 5, right? Okay, see. So Tahlequah. So I want you guys to see that you were in mind, right? And then ultimately it goes into the good of the show. How can we convey everyone's cause into it? And then they're ready to go in and readjust to tailor, right? Let's see if you can hear this.
A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts. So he loses touch with reality
Oh, yes.
and
I love
lives
this song.
in a world of illusions.
See, I know you, girl.
By thoughts, I mean specifically chatter in the skull, perpetual and compulsive repetition of words, of reckoning or calculating. I'm not saying that thinking is bad. Like everything else, it's useful in moderation. A good servant, but a bad master. And all so-called civilized peoples have increasingly become crazy and self-destructive because through excessive thinking they have lost touch with reality. That's to say, science with the real world.
All right, so that is something that I've thought over and over again for you for your intro. So I'm not
Mhm.
surprised by your question. Remember, you're super intuitive, right? So it didn't make it past the second draft. It made it through the 5. It didn't get into first because the rest of the music throughout the show is lyrical. It has a lot of verbiage, whereas this only opened up with verbiage, and everything else is kind of that down. So it didn't flow with all of them, but it doesn't mean that you can't go through and kind of say, hey, can you send me some of the songs that you thought I might enjoy? And you may pull some out of here, you know, that you may want to tailor for that. So I've already prepared myself for you guys to have individualities in your tracks. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you see what I mean? Like, so what you have here presented to you today that made it into the 0 final draft, this is a combination of everything for the good of the show with a budget or overall budget, right? Because we know each of these shows, we're saying $5,000 is the max, but what do I do every year, right? We're always over $6,000, 7. So we want to be conscious of that. I need you guys to be conscious of that. But yes, you will be able to come in and do some tailoring, because having your cause understood and conveyed is vital to your experience. But that's when that work comes in for you. You've got to hit it hard, and it has to be something that everyone is like, that's dope. That's dope, right? And I'm going to challenge you on it. You can push back. But that's what I meant when I say we have until the 30th of next month to challenge anything that's here. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. So in order for you to get that solid answer and be able to be super excited about your show, you're going to need to get in here, dive in, read, make sure that that soundtrack is a part of your day-to-day listening in your ear, get it into your heart, and then decide, hey, I've got something a little bit better right here for scene 7 or scene 8. And there should be no huge problem pulling it in, especially if it doesn't entertain dancers. But we've got a strong group of dancers that are super excited, and may be able to tailor something and say, yeah, we've got to do this. But remember, we don't want to overwork them and underpay them.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So that's it on the breakdown. Does anyone have any questions here? Because as you see here, it's 15 songs. I'm not going to take you through each of them. I just kind of wanted you to get an overall feel. Okay. Next, we're going to go into vibing with the chosen songs that are in draft. They're still not in fixed. They're in fluid. Let's go through the soundtrack if anyone doesn't have any other questions. All right. So this is going to be the opening. And one of the things that I'm going to have to remind you, I have to say every single year, 20 years, it's so rare if this ever happens where everyone is like, oh, I love the soundtrack. It has to get in you. And then by the time you decide, when you first hear it, no, that's not me, that's not what I want, that's not my show, you're going to be cut off to it. And you're going to be cut off to the message. And it will be very challenging for you to find something that's going to replace it to be better, because you didn't sit with it and get involved with it. So come from a place of being open, see the dancers, see the show, and then do whatever you have to do to perfect it. Or say, I'm cool with it. And that has to take at least, I think, a week of listening to the show. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yes.
Okay. And
Yes.
once you got that week of listening to it, then you'll be super fired up to replace the song. You'll know the song, it will come to you, it will find you, or you'll be happy or content with the work that's presented here. So this is what we've done for the choreographers, so we can keep all the dancers involved. So far, you've got majorettes, you've got contemporary dancers, you've got ballet dancers, and you've got hip hop dancers that are all signed up to do strut. And what we have to do is go in and say, we can't take all of y'all. We can only take 3 of y'all, 4 of y'all, 8 of y'all. Anybody else that wants to come, you're now volunteering. That's what we have to do next. So this month is super important that you get this in your spirit and then make super conscious decisions for the show itself, while at the same time finding you in this production, and then fighting for your vision and your message, making sure it's conveyed. Okay. For Chris, I've got tons of songs that, oh my God, it was just so difficult. I really wanted to make sure that we capture the essence of your mom, your cause. It's the same conversation we just had with Adia. Where finding music that talks about from a son's perspective of losing their mom, needing their mom, missing their mom, right? So I would also implore you, you guys don't have iPhones, so I've got to figure out a way to get you into this additional draft list. But can you see how many songs? These are all songs that kind of hit on those feelings,
Yeah.
that may not have been brought into the overall draft, right? So let's from that point, and then that was the same thing also with you, Miss Weber. I think we ended up having 7 drafts with the Indian music. One of the major problems we ran into was not knowing what the songs actually meant, because a lot of them did not have a place where we could find the verbiage. So if we're going to exchange any music for you, we're going to have to use you as a mediator to explain, because some of the songs, for example, there's a song that we absolutely love, but we didn't know what they were, what it meant. And it wasn't as easy just to go off of the title of the song.
Yes.
Right. And so that was a big frustration, not knowing where to place it in the actual show. So, and
I'll go through there and look. The only caveat to that is I put this. There's a lot of pretendians out there, and there's a lot of people saying stuff, but they're not Indian. But to someone that isn't Indian and is not familiar, they sound right.
And
they sound sincere, and they probably are for the most part.
Yeah, but it's appropriate.
But it would offend, and I hate to use that word, so just forget all the political correctness and all that. It would offend or upset or just cause to nullify our message.
Yes.
If Indians that were culturalized was to hear us put that out there, and it's just a big farce from somebody in I'm not dissing New York, but it's just from someplace else, and they're not even Indian.
Yes.
So we're just trying to sell music. So that mediator, that being able to say, oh yeah, that's at least legit.
And it's imperative. So you'll notice that we've got a Indian vibe in a few of the songs in the show. What we decided to do when it came to implementing more cultural songs into Strut, we decided, okay, we're gonna go with songs that have more of a vibe, because we already know we've got the contemporary, the hip hop dancers, everyone is kind of afraid to cross those appropriation lines.
Right?
So, we
Well,
would
at
have
least
to
I'm versed in that.
we would
Mhm.
have to seek out dancers in the Indian community there. And then also just be really respectful with the dancers we bring with us. So this was a conversation we hit a million times. You can see how many songs, there are so many. And this is just the second draft. So imagine where we came from. So after
Right.
we oh my God, we dove into this a gazillion. These songs are incredible. And we just decided, okay, what we're gonna do is let's present the overall soundtrack and let her take it from there if she wants more, or if you are like, no, this is great, right? Well, we noticed we had the same issue that we did with Adia, but like I said, it's not fixed. The song started taking on the verbiage route. What does that mean? A lot of times the vibe will get into the strut soundtrack where there's no words. Or there is more guitar, or there's more this, or there's more that, or it's just random. So every song started to tell its story for that scene. And we noticed with a lot of the Native American tracks, it was just what was the word? It was just music.
Instrumental.
Right, instrumental, thank you. And we really could not pull out, or the words, the songs that we did love, we didn't know where to
I cannot hear what you're saying if you're saying it.
not.
I lost your sound.
Could that music at all be heard at all? Or was it
I kind of, but not
okay?
clearly.
Well, yeah, I hate playing the music through the computer because it's distorted.
Mhm.
But anyway, you guys were able to hear that song before though, right?
Overthinker.
Yeah.
I heard ADS
I could
Okay.
hear it a little. Yeah.
kind of broken.
Someone tell
Yeah.
me to stop if this is broken as well. I'm gonna go through the intro.
Yeah, it's very broken.
All right, but you
Broken.
guys all have that the link. I'm gonna put that link to the group really quickly. This is what I do with the dancer Zoom meetings. I just share this right here to you guys.
And I think I'll still be able to, even though I don't have an iPhone, I think I can still, see the songs and click on them and maybe go to them on a different source since I don't
Yeah.
have Apple.
Yeah,
There you
and
go.
that's just yeah, I need to get more clever in how I can I guess I could maybe upload them to a playlist on YouTube. Where are you guys at? Did I delete
YouTube.
something?
YouTube would be best.
I can do that. It's just so many of them. Golly. I'll send you over any of them that made it to like a third draft. Let's see.
You said what?
No, I mean when I get done eating my sandwich, I can get the okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have mute. I'm sorry.
You're okay. It's fine. Okay. All right, so that's the bulk of our work, you guys, for this next couple of weeks, is to see if there's anything that you want to replace, add in, tailor to your I think we did a pretty good job of getting everyone's personality in the overall. However, as I've shown you before, we have individualized your personalities, your story in your own soundtracks. So I will do my best. I'll make that my homework to use that Facebook group and start sending. I'll just write OKC draft, Tahlequah draft. And if there's anything that you want to fight for, you can, but you have to keep in mind, and that's why I'm going to keep reiterating, you have to be in sync with the storyline that's here, that's been worked on, with you all in mind, and be in sync with the words and the message here. And then replace that section with something just as dope or doper.
And real quick question on that, just so I'm understanding, make sure I'm following. So say if one of us has something that we really want to go with our cause, just the other 4 of us would have to agree upon that change and make it work within our show as well.
Yes, so you all have to
Okay.
agree on it, because it's the budget. It's the budget.
Right.
Because now if you change, let's just say you pull in a different song for scene 6. Okay, well, we had a running outfit that we were able to use for 2 shows or all shows. And now we have to readjust the wardrobe because it's not gonna go. You know what I'm saying? So now it's unforeseen cost. And there will be a point where the shows are paid for, we've got the money, and the king and queens will be able to individualize their shows according to their vision, their message, and they don't have to do a team effort.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, and that's just me being completely transparent. It is a budget ceiling.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm perfectly okay with it, just for the record. Like, I love that, if it's something that really would help, get someone else's cause to go, I would be okay agreeing with it, just to make sure that the message is seen, because everybody has their cause. And like we all know, we are very, impacted by them. So I want to make sure that everybody does get that part, that they want in there. So I'm a team player, basically, is what I'm saying.
I love it.
Agreed.
So one of the things I'm going to have to point out to you guys on how you're reading this, because this is a production chart, so there may be some confusion. There's going to be some songs that are versing each other or going to be possibly combined, right? For example, you see where it says scene 3 and then dancer pre-scene 4. This can totally be combined into one track. So this is that back of house stuff that you are now a part of, where these 2 songs are being fought over. One needs to beat out the other. They need to go against each other, right? And now we've done the majority of the knockouts, pairing the songs in the ring against each other, playing them a gazillion times. Which one is conveying the message better? Which one is going to suit the dancers better? Which one has the timing that we need to make sure the show is under an hour better, right? And there are two portions here, 2 scenes where we decided, hey, what if we just combine them? So instead of this entire song being played, I hate that it's distorted. I've sent that link to you guys, but for you guys who are on your phone and can't switch over, I'm gonna play it just because I work better by playing. If it's distorted, it's distorted, just turn it down. So for example, we wanted the dancers to open up with this song. We couldn't decide if this was a runway or not, but this is talking about how the world broke you, it hurt your heart. The reality is terrible, right? This world is gonna break your heart.
I'm not hearing anything if it's playing.
Okay. All right. So the next song is Sometimes I Cry. Chris, you said you can't hear anything?
No, I didn't hear anything when you were just playing it.
Neither
Dang.
can I.
Okay. So moving forward, what I decided to do is take these songs and then come in and combine it. Let go of at least that first song was so long, so slow, right? And only use the part that we needed the song for, which was the words itself for the first chorus. This world is going to break your heart. There will be no place to lay your head. This is after you find out that, damn, this is not what it's cracked up to be. I came here and you mean I have to face loss, disease, all kind of, issues. And then it goes into Sometimes I Cry, which is more suited for that runway version of that. And why is that even important? Why do we fight over that? What's the whole reason behind it? Now you guys are in the producer seat. You'll notice that it has to go from dancer to runway, dancer to runway, dancer to runway, dancer to runway. So this also makes it difficult. This is why I completely remove soundtrack choosing from the King and Queens, because you don't know exactly what the weave of the puzzle or the jigsaw is really about. Can someone tell me why it needs to be every other? Why it needs to be a dancer before a runway?
To give the dancers a break in between scenes.
Yes. And also to give the models a chance to actually change. So when we're choosing these dance scenes, we want them to be at least 1 or 2 minutes at a minimum, so the models can change. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
these are things that if you're coming in to replace, be aware. If you're like, oh, I got this song and it's a 30-second song, and you think that's great because it helps the timing of the show stay under an hour, but it's not great because we just left a major runway scene and we need at least that extra minute to 2 minutes for changing. Because I'm going to talk for a certain amount of time and we don't want that moment of, are you guys ready? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Oh, they need 1 more minute, So you want to keep that in mind. Closing this
Can I
out.
ask something?
Yes, ma'am. Go for it.
It goes along with the time for the quick changes. Do you have a kind of ball ground idea of how many designs? I'm asking as a designer now. How many designs you would like to have? Like closer to 8, 14's okay, but 6 is wonderful. I don't know.
Per scene?
Huh?
You mean per scene?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. So we get that number from how long is the track? And then what's the tempo of the track? So for example, Pharrell, this is 6 minutes and 15 seconds. Dadgum, that's a long song. Right?
Mhm.
So this is where we come out and you choreo in your home and you're like, no, this is the pace they should be walking. But if they walk this fast, we're gonna be out of models, out of designs, and we have to cut out on our song. So because we don't know which designer is going to come up and say, yeah, I got 15 pieces. Not likely. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Right. A designer is gonna be like, yeah, I got 4 to 7. What you need? And we're like, we need you to have like 6 more. Like, so
We're
then
gonna
we
do
have
a
to go
minimum of
into-
8. Yeah.
Yeah, then we're at the Strut Boutique. And if we only have 13 pieces in that layout, and we're trying to tell a story with this song, yeah, we could fade out, of course. And most of the time we have to, but we really want to adjust the walking pace to make it all make sense. So when I say the jigsaw puzzle is real, it's real. And a lot of times, some of these songs have beaten out another track when it came to the final battle because it had more time or less time. Same message, same vibe, but the timing was different, or the chorus had a doper move for the dancers. And those are things that you guys may not be, you're not going to understand, and you weren't privy to them. So why did this song get in here? Well, the hip hop dancers, under their contract, they have to have at least 3 to go on tour. They have to be there for a reason. They can't be there for 1 song or 2 songs. It's got to be worth the expense, right? It's got to be worth the Airbnb that we've got to pay for. They need to be there working with us, not watching the show, waiting on their 2 options to dance, right? So that's something we've got to consider. Like, oh, this song means so much to me, but we just lost our, 3rd hip hop scene. And we're paying for them to be there for their 2 songs instead of 3, So that ceiling that budget creates, it is real. It's very real. So another thing that we were thinking about merging together is Trapped is the Lavore and Moon, right? Or no, actually I'm wrong. It's Moon and Praise God. Or they'll have to go into the ring and one will have to knock the other out. You'll see the details in the verbiage here. I'll tell you, hey, this song is competing against the other one above. You need to decide whether we're going to keep them or are we going to merge them together as one track like here. You don't even want to, like we did with the other song. Are we going to merge it together? If we do merge it, where are we merging it? Is Praise God going to go first or is Moon going to go first? And if we merge it together, is it going to move from just one dancer scene to dancer and runway? Right? Or, hey. Okay, give me 1 second. All right, guys. So these are the things that you'll be reading below, and hopefully it makes total perfect sense. Okay. And you, like I said, you may come in. Also, you'll see here for the grand finale, these 2 have to fight against each other. All of Me, The Greatest Show. Which one is going to be our closer? Or does The Greatest Show get X-nayed? There were some dancers fighting for that. I don't know. It doesn't really fall in line so much, but I get it as far as life being a show, life being a concept of its own, right? This is the greatest experience. The soul, once it's departed here, what do they turn around and say that we have no thought of, what we can't perceive? Would it say that was the scariest ride of my life, but ooh, I want to get on it again? So that's a concept that's thrown in there. All right, so I don't overflood you with too much information. I'm going to ask, do you guys have any other questions? And then I'm going to talk about what we need to be prepared for our next meeting. Because we can't really have any other meetings until you guys get it. We lock this in. Is everyone there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. So, for our next meeting, we're gonna dive into this, digest this, challenge the music, see what others you want to replace it with. Contact me if I
We're
have
gonna
not
dive into what?
heard. Say it again. Say it one more time. Adia,
Yes, ma'am.
say it one more time.
I just didn't hear the rest of what you had said. This next meeting, we're gonna dive into what?
Okay, so this has to be completed so we can move forward into the next meeting. You knowing your story that you're wanting to tell. Do you agree with the songs provided? Do you want to challenge them? By the next class, we want to have that locked in. So it would be great if you start sending me options to challenge, but please don't get off this, video and then start sending me stuff, because I'm gonna know that it's not right. And the reason why is because you haven't digested this into your heart yet.
Mhm.
So I'm just gonna be like, nope, nope, nope. And then it won't be until a couple of weeks where you really start sending me good stuff. Not to say that it's not good in the beginning, but I've done this long enough to know, like, oh, I don't like this at all. Let me just send her some better music. It's not about the better music, it's about the better message. So we want to get into that. From the soundtrack, then I will go into the flyer, and I'll try and tailor the flyer to each of your causes and the vibes with that. Right. So I'm gonna be anxious to get this done so I can start doing individual flyers.
Okay.
And then we don't want to spend a whole lot of time on that, because we've got to break down now your venue options, your venue list, how do you go in and pick out this venue? What makes this a strong venue? What makes it a poor venue? And that brings me into Adia's question when she said, list. Okay, so the only venues we don't have locked in, I've found the location for the Tulsa show, which is for Miss Thomas. She's not on here tonight. You guys show her some support and really come through for her, because she's gone through something with the house fire they shared with us. And I do not want that to pose a future problem, but as of to date, I don't have the communication I need to have in order to feel confident about putting down a deposit. Okay, so, and we need our deposits going down. We need our stuff so we can formulate our schedule. So whatever the reason is, now moving forward, you guys show her your support. Maybe that will help her with being active. I do have a limitation on communication. If I feel that I'm about to spend $5 or $6 grand on a show that you won't even be at, I'm gonna pull it. And I need all of you guys to know that, because it's not fair to the other crown holders if I'm holding back on their budget in reserve for someone who's not here.
Right.
So I want to make sure that's known, it's said inside this meeting, whether anyone is here or not, because it's recorded and I will be posting it. So there's only so many meetings that you can miss without letting me know you're not going to be at the meeting. They're once a month. There's tons of weeks in between our date. It's okay not to be there, but just let me know, because this is a lot of work. It's a lot of emotional work, mental work, and financial work. So these are not just fashion shows for me, right? This is this is a big deal, and hopefully it is for each of you. And so we want to make sure that we are as encouraging and welcoming as possible, so that will help us eliminate any other reasons. Okay. So because you never know how someone else is handling something. We want to be as supportive and loving as possible, but there is a cap on no communication or little communication. I will set the crown to the side and find someone else to walk your crown for you and hold it and have the experience for you, or we will just not honor that crown. And so with that being said, because it's such a important meeting, that production part, the stage, with Dallas and Miss Thomas not being on here, I do not want to touch it. Okay, can everyone understand that?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
so but I do, Adia, every venue on your list I've reached out to and have spoken to, I've gotten the prices. And those are in consideration. But if the place that we're coming into that's going to bring us into their event does not want to use any of those, then we'll be using the event that they want.
Okay.
And I'll remind you of your power. When we went into hey, I want to have a museum, and then the next day, you guys, Adia is so incredibly intuitive, and she's a huge manifester. She had mentioned wanting to have the show in a museum, bringing in a museum concept, and those options were not on the table. We were invited to Oklahoma City to do STRUT in conjunction with a festival. And so when that happens, we're kind of at the mercy of their date, right? Because it gives us a
Yes.
discount on their venue and access to their models and vendors, all that great stuff. So it's a great setup, and it's in Oklahoma City. And the next day, the guy texts me and says, hey, we've got to change a venue. We want to see if you're interested. And I'm telling him, well, great, because my student has to have a venue list for our first meeting. And it's imperative. So I'm just going to have her start looking for stuff that she likes. And he says, well, I've got 2 that we're considering right now. And I don't know if it's going to change or not, but here they are. And he sends it to me. He sends me 2 museums. Not just museums, but they're Native American museums on top of that.
Wow.
So, yeah. And then Adia said, well, I don't know for sure if I want to do museums anymore. I think I'm going to go a different direction. And then the next day after her text message, he responds to me. I didn't even send him a message. I just want you guys to see how powerful you all are. When I say that you're called and meant to do something, and we've joined forces for a reason beyond our knowledge. All right, so Ada, you sent me that message Monday, February 12th at 3:20 p.m. Hi, Tiara. I'm having a few internal switch ups. Things may be changing with the venue during the expo show. I may have to do a regular show instead of a 7. His regular is 3-day versus a 7-day.
I'm good. How are you?
I will call you this evening or tomorrow to talk more about it. He took the museums off the table. So when you guys are in your creative moments, be aware of your projections. Be aware that this is this is a combined force of incredible energies. And when you're creating, it's going ahead of you to complete itself. When you retract and say, let me erase it, it literally is erasing. And I hope you guys can get this imagery I'm setting out before you. Is that making sense?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Very, very powerful. And so I'm going to keep reminding you of your power. So when you're like, no, I don't like this, or no, I don't want this, or be aware, sit with it from the heart, ground in it, and then say, what is the best option? What is for the good of this? Because you've signed up to be a part of a ministry, right? So how do I get my story more completed? Or how do I get my vision more seen? Come from that space, right? Versus don't want, don't need, or I'm going to change, because you guys are powerful. Very, very powerful. And so the venue is supposed to be even better than the museums. So they're just locking in now, going from a 7-day festival to a 3-day festival, and making sure that this is going to work. So that's the case with ADIAs. Chris, we've got to make sure that we get some more options for your venues, or as it stands,
Okay.
the one that the city one,
Yeah.
that's the only one that I've been digging, and I need to get at least 2 to compete against it.
Okay. Yeah. Cause I remember you said you removed the other 2. The other ones wouldn't work. So I need to get 2
What is
additional
up with
options
the
for you.
cost in that city? The everything up there is $4 or $5 grand.
Yeah, they so expensive.
I'm like, and y'all don't have a back of house. We don't even have a hallway.
Man, yeah. It
So
is a
yeah,
little expensive. But
yeah,
I'll be on the lookout really strong this week so I can make sure I get you. So you want at least 2 or 3 more options to compete
yeah.
against? Okay.
Go on those bridal places. And the reason why is because they're not just subject to wedding venues, it's any venue that could be abstract, or it's just going to be space.
Yeah.
And if you look up the wedding venues, you've got those, the wedding wire, the wedding knot, where you just go on, type in what you need, the date you need it in, and they reach out to you.
Nice. Okay.
Versus me trying to hunt down these people just for them to tell me that it's $5 grand. And I just want to know, is there an option for at least 60 people to be at backstage? And the moment I hear no, okay, thank you for your time. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and I've had the most challenging time finding that.
Miss T,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
apologize. I had missed a little bit of the information that you were giving earlier about the festival.
Okay.
Can you please repeat
Yeah, I'm
that
going to
for me?
reiterate. We're on 7 o'clock. I'm going to it's recorded and I will upload it, but I was talking about your power and how your ability to manifest was just as powerful as your ability to erase. And so I got a text message the next day after you sent, hey, I don't know if I want to do the museums, and then you sent a list of other options. Well, they sent me a message the next day saying they're going to reroute the festival from 7 days to 3 days, and they're looking at a better venue that is not a museum. And
Okay.
so I just reminded everyone of your power. You will see in this experience how each of you are creators and you're co-creating with one another. And if you pay attention to the synchronicities, they'll be flying at you. Like, if you guys think I'm weird, you're going to find out why, because they're going to just be here and we'll discuss them and we'll have to acknowledge them, so you guys are creating. So protect your energy, protect your mindset when you're going through this soundtrack or you're going through the scenes. Don't say, I hate this song or I hate this, because there may be a dancer that's working on that and we don't want anything to happen. You know what I mean? Like, just be protective of your energy and sit with the stuff, get one with it, and then go from there. How can I get my story told better while working for the good of the show? So come with that energy. And I just really want to just, as we end, protect your energy, and then just be very, very purposeful in creating this energy in this group that we're with tonight, right? And how we want to move forward. Positivity, and how can we do it better? And don't be afraid of my no. Just come with a challenge that's going to be acceptable. Fight for what you believe in. Fight for something that you really, really want. Help me understand why it's got to be chosen. Don't be afraid of the challenge, because everything that's chosen today that's before you went through what I call the ring, or where they had to go into the ring with each other, and we had to fight for our reasoning for this. And it could be music, it could be clothing, it could be anything. When it comes to creative artists working together as a group, there's always a conflict of I don't like it, or I do like it, or I'm okay with it, or it doesn't matter to me. It's going to be that in any group. So just guard yourself, your heart with that, and try and come from a more stable point. And I'm just going to watch and see how you guys develop and what manifest, right? So start seeing Chris's venue when we go to Kansas City, Missouri. Start seeing what it's like when we go to the Airbnb, or, does he go with a hotel? Are we in hotel rooms? Like, what are we manifesting for each other for the good of the show? With Shaku, let's see 20, 30 students, because we've got the venues, the dates, and we know that we've got interns that we've inboxed 8 months prior, 7 months prior, right? 6 months prior. And we can follow up with them, and we can make sure that you and I, we getting down to these shows, you queens, we're going to Kansas City, Missouri for our king to support the shows he's walking in, and we're networking, finding out who did the hair and the makeup, who's the designer, like really getting into this show. So with that, I want to make sure that you guys aren't scared to hop on these meetings because they're too long. So we've gone our hour and a half. Any other questions?
Can I chime in real fast?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So this is Shaku, hair and makeup artist, director.
Hey.
So for each area, if you guys don't mind, if y'all can come up with some cosmetology schools that's in your area for your fashion show, send me those contact information. Then that way I can reach out to them personally to to send an email and see if I can actually show up personally to their school and maybe do like a makeup demonstration, kind of build a relationship with those people that we're trying to have as volunteers for the shows. I do have one coming up in Skiatook on March the 4th, I believe. I've been knowing this lady that owns the school for quite some time, just from Facebook. And I don't think I've never met her, but it's always been that thing. Hey, I would love for you to come to my school. So I'm finally getting ready to go and do a little makeup demonstration and do a little class for her students. So I'm excited about that. But like I said, once again, if y'all can find some people, like some schools in the area that your show is in, send me those contacts and I can make that happen.
Perfect information. Yeah. And if you're at those shows as a model designer, it's contact season. Like rack them up. Definitely that was perfect advice. Anything else from anyone that wants to say anything?
I just want to say I'm excited. I love your concept and your energy, and it just lines up with exactly what I'm about. And like you said, the spirits what we manifest is gonna come true together. We're all on the same page. So I'm just so excited. to bring everybody's vision to life. And definitely, if you guys have any shows or anything, please share them. So I can travel, and get out there. I think I'm actually gonna be coming out doing some stuff with Shaku with Aquarius. So support.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do that shoot and everything. I think she was telling me about. So just want to support everybody that's in here. So if you guys got anything that I can support, definitely share it with me.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. When you get down here, make sure we all hang out.
Yeah, that's what Aquarius said. We said we gotta make sure
Woo-hoo.
we have lunch or dinner with you for sure.
Absolutely.
March 10th.
March 10th. Hold on. Let me bring out the calendar.
And the other thing is we brought on board Adia as the fashion
I
stylist
saw that. Woo! Y'all
for
about to go out.
Finally Fammed.
She about to have you right, Chris. Look.
We are excited about that.
Let's go.
Yeah, I was floored. I'm like, okay, y'all don't even know. Y'all don't even know. And it's so on trend. It's so, yeah, come on.
Amen
Yeah.
and amen. Thank God.
I love it. I'm super excited. Well, God is doing some amazing things. I'm so excited for all of you. This year, this show with losing my dad, I can't wait to dive in and share some things. If you look at my live that I did a few hours before when I was working with my brother on deciding, I was at the point where I'm like, hey, we just need to get rid of Sometimes I Cry. It's got this country twang to it that's just not vibing with the totality here, and
Right.
there's a song, Sometimes I Cry, and I was like, let's just go ahead and 86 it. Let's just go ahead and get rid of it because it's just not there. And my son was like, no, you can't do that. The king and queens have to decide, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. But, and I had a personal reason why, because that was one of my dad's favorite artists. Right. And I knew that was going to be a challenging, emotional moment for me. I didn't want to mess up the show with. Right. And so I had personal reasons why I wanted to get rid of it, even though it was chosen. And what ended up happening, my son was working on the music breakdown, and his grandfather, keyword grandfather, his other grandfather got on the live. He never gets on our lives. He's in Texas. We don't really communicate with him. So his other grandfather got on the live, and the young lady who was supposed to sing Tennessee Whiskey at my dad's funeral got on the live. She's never on my lives. So this Tennessee Whiskey is the same singer and author of the guy who's singing Sometimes I Cry. What is the point I'm telling you? What's the synchronicity there? That was my dad showing up to tell my son, don't let her take this song out. I'm going to show you grandfather and the same singer on this live. So I look at, when I tell you how God just comes through and moves, and just be ready to share the stories because they're going to be there, because this is where we're able to really truly minister what you've gone through, your pains, and turn them into your sermon. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
I'm looking forward. I don't want you to feel boxed in. Everything is fluid, not fixed. I want to see what you do with it, but you have a short window of time before we cut it and we move. We got to go because there's so much riding on this being completed. We're on task. We're on schedule. We want to stay there. All right, guys. Well, I love you much. I hope I didn't overtalk you or talk you to sleep.
How come Taco Bell order you ready?
Hey, can I get a cheese quesadilla? That is like, look, y'all better come on. I got to drive some. Okay. Okay, guys, love you so much. Thank you so much for attending the meeting. And don't
I love
forget,
you
let's
too.
check on anyone who did not make it. Personally check on them
Okay,
in the
see you.
inboxes, make sure they're
Yes.
good.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, have a
All right,
great night.
guys. All right, you guys have a great night. Thank you so much.
All right.
You too, bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Later.